Monday night, you're checking out Breakfast Soup Raw.
Enjoy as Don Tony and Mish spill the soup about pro wrestling, sports, news, and pop culture. Breakfast Soup Raw.
Breakfast Soup Raw.
And now, your host, Mish and Don Tony.
He is back. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, Mish.
Happy New Year.
January 3rd, 2022. This is the first Breakfast Soup Raw for 2022. Surprisingly enough, this is already the fourth podcast for me in 2022. We will have some fun tonight. We have a few things to get into. Officially, I am Don Tony, and he is the returning
Anthony Missionary Thomas.
You still sound nasal. Did you have COVID, or was it the bad flu or bad cold? What happened?
Well, I don't know if it was COVID or not. I didn't take the test. There was an opportunity for me to take the test, but the situation kind of led me to believe it wasn't COVID, only because, so me and my significant other, me and Tink, we both started getting sick. And when we went to the family dinner, well, I felt sick before the family dinner. She didn't. But we went to the family dinner, and then she started to get sick. And immediately we thought, fuck, it might be COVID, only because Christmas shopping, you're dealing with thousands upon thousands of people. We were at the different malls and stuff. You know, it's like you could have really gotten it from anywhere the Christmas season. That's why everybody's sick, because it's COVID, it's flus, it's colds. It's like everything is just intermingling.
Yeah.
And we were worried because only us two got sick at first, but we found out that after we had a family dinner with her folks, everybody got sick. And if it was COVID, it's going to take longer than 24 to 48 hours for it to appear. No matter if it's the Omicron variant or the regular COVID variant, it's going to present in 7 to 14 days. I think the Omicron is a little bit rushed. I think it's like 3 days or 4 days, but still, we're talking literally within 48 hours, everybody was sick. So I've been dealing with it since probably the December 23rd. And yeah, even now, I mean, I'm okay now. I'm still blasting a ton of like multivitamins, emergency, magnesium. Joey's sending me some butcher's root.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Good deal.
Somebody else sent me a couple of antibiotics too. They said that these might just help. So, I mean, people have been looking out for me. People are worried, you know. And
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I'm a bigger dude, and unfortunately, I do have a tobacco habit. But you know, it floored everybody else. The kids are fine. You know, her folks are fine. She's okay. She's completely recovered. I'm just the longest one. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back, and you know, you sound better. And you know, as I've started prepping everybody, you know, the shows have started to tighten up. I think 2 of the last 3 shows outside of New Year's Eve, the last 2 shows were just drop over an hour. We're going to do the same tonight. For our Patreon family, don't forget tomorrow night we will be doing Breakfast Soup Raw. I know I will at least, you know, we'll see how Mish feels tomorrow. We don't want to overload him, but you know, we'll definitely do something. You know, I guess let's just throw it out there right now. I posted this early this morning. I get some nasty DMs. I had a couple of wise asses when I talked about OSHA and I talked about Rollins and I talked about the precautions a week ago, you know, and just because I don't put my news in tweets or information I get in tweets because I save it for all of you, you know, I get accused of copying other people. Yet I brought up all the precaution and the guidelines and the stuff, the way WWE's handling it over a week ago. So early this morning, I post online that positive update regarding Roman Reigns and his COVID. And right away, I get a bunch of wise-ass DMs and emails. Who the hell told you that? How do you know? You're bullshitting. There ain't no way Roman Reigns going to be back that quick if he tested Saturday. Brock Lesnar teasing today that he will see Roman Reigns on Friday. Here is the facts, everyone. You know, I am now in my 25th year doing this. I used to report news, and we used to break a boatload of stuff up to about 10 years ago. I stopped reporting news because one thing about me and one thing about Mish and one thing about everybody in our immediate family is we want to give you 1,000% or we don't want to give you anything. And the thing about reporting news is I don't want to just report a little piece here, a little piece here, a little piece here. You know, that's why I stopped doing it. It's either balls out or nothing at all. Just like the shows, it's either balls out or nothing at all. But over 25 years, you know, I do have friends. You know, early on it was Mike the Informer that we got all this crazy shit. And then with the TNA stuff, it was Mr. Mystery. And I got a couple other people. So I asked around, you know, what actually happened with Roman Reigns? What's the deal? And I was told in 2 DMs this morning that Roman Reigns feels great, that, you know, he is just going with the protocol, and that barring any delays with the testing, Roman Reigns could be back as early as this Friday. Also, WWE is likely going to keep him out of the ring doing anything physical for at least a week or two, maybe even the Royal Rumble, to play it safe with the guy. The guy has other issues as well. You know, so that's what I was told this morning. So
I think that's the one thing that most people are concerned about, though, is I don't know if it's necessarily the fact that, you know, he contracted COVID. I think it's more along the lines of how does that affect the complications of his leukemia? Right. I understand that he's recovered from it, but that doesn't mean that his body still doesn't suffer from, you know, the ravages of it.
Sure. And, you know, like I said a few days ago, this is not, him getting COVID is not something you could blame WWE on, because a lot of people forget that the last time Roman Reigns competed was 2 weeks before he got this. This was not on WWE's watch. This was not after a house show. Shit happens. You know, I'm sure almost everybody out there doesn't plan on getting COVID. And a lot of people are very responsible and really do take precautions, and yet they still get COVID. The good news is, and I said this a couple of days ago, you know, everybody should just wish Roman Reigns well and stop the drama, you know, as an excuse to hate on WWE. But now, I mean, be glad that Roman Reigns, that he is, you know, pretty much good, but they're going to take some extra precautions because WWE actually does care, you know, in their wrestlers. I know a lot of people feel otherwise, but this is an investment. Roman Reigns is an investment in that company. AS7607, shout out to you. Hope you're doing well. I will definitely be sending you what I promised tomorrow. I had a few people out there that were sending me, and they all did today. So you'll see a nice little gift coming your way. Yeah, it does seem like it's Omicron. I did ask point blank. I said, was it Omicron? And the person said to me, I really don't know. But the way he was tested, and it was a surprise. It was a surprise to him that he tested positive. So that kind of tells me it's likely Omicron, similar to Seth Rollins' situation. So the most important thing out of all of this is not who got information from who or who reported it first, right? The bottom line is he's good. He's doing well.
Right. And,
you know, it's going to be, you're not going to miss much. Now, obviously, storylines got thrown in a major loop because, you know, now the word going around is that Big E was not scheduled to lose the title yesterday, but because of what happened, WWE panic mode, you know, stir it up, shake it up. You know, they got to do something to cover up this massive. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is massive. Them having this rematch is massive. And leading into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, it's massive. So the fact that one side of it couldn't compete, you have to have something earth-shattering to kind of offset it. Unfortunately, it was at the expense of Big E. But you know what? I'm going to compare it to Chris Jericho, and I think it was 1999. It was either 99 or 2000. I don't remember which year it was. I remember when Chris Jericho took on Triple H on Raw, the infamous title match. It never happened. And Jericho, when he was interviewed, they said, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry, you'll get it." And I truthfully believe that Big E, will regain this championship.
Yeah. Well, I think Paul kind of made that clear, talking between the lines tonight a little bit. I really did enjoy Paul Heyman back in Brock Lesnar form. I think Paul Heyman is one of those guys that just give him a microphone and give him some time, and he can go out there and be entertaining no matter what the fuck he has to say. And tonight's one of those nights. Paul Heyman was on point. Brock Lesnar was out there looking happy, which is creepy in itself. But Paul Heyman making a lot of points with the different guys, obviously putting over Bobby Lashley and putting over Big E in a huge way. I mean, he really made it very clear that he has a lot of respect for Bobby Lashley. And even to the point where Big E, to the point where he even made mention of it, that Big E should be the champion if Brock wasn't around. And I liked that. I thought that was kind of interesting. It was an interesting twist. And he's such a good barker, too. It's so natural to see Paul Heyman in that element. It's fun to listen to him because you know what he's going to say. It's not like he's telling us, these crazy stories that we've never heard before or anything else like that. It's just the confidence and the way that he promotes other wrestlers and the way he promotes Brock Lesnar and just the way it feels right. Like the guy just cuts a very entertaining promo, and I really enjoyed him opening up Raw tonight.
Yeah. And I caught one of his lines. I wrote it down. He said, take a shot at Roman Reigns. He said, 1 week without me as special counsel, and Roman Reigns already has COVID. You could get over the Rona.
Well, he was talking to the fans, too.
Yeah, but karma could be really bitchy.
Yeah, because he's looking over at the fans. He's like, 1 week. You want proof? You want proof? 1 week without me, and he's got COVID. And I was like, damn, that was funny.
I like the line where he said that Becky Lynch is going to leave Seth Rollins for losing to Brock Lesnar. I thought that was good, too.
That was pretty funny, too. Man.
Look, let's make this clear. We talked about it on the day one recap, and we're talking about it here again. They're not going to drop Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar because of what happened. You have the Royal Rumble to make it up to Big E. If it's not the Royal Rumble, is an Elimination Chamber. I don't know if that's still on the schedule, but there's plenty of time to set up another championship match. The thing people need to understand, you got to start realizing this, and I know this is strong medicine for a lot of people out there. You look at what has been done for the New Day for the last 5 years. And like I said, they were recently ranked by a lot of people. Not everybody agrees. I disagree. I would say maybe top 5, but not the number one faction of all time. Do not erase Big E's history with the New Day and everything they've accomplished, and stop whenever a wrestler, that's black loses under kind of shitty circumstances, that it's a black thing or it's a white thing. I'm sure anybody that is black in that company does not want to feel that they were given a championship simply because of their skin color. Big E is 1,000 times better than that. For years and years and years, we've been saying that we'd love to see Big E as champion. He's not 45 years old. He's got plenty of time to regain it. You look at how many times the New Day were tag champs. It's not going to be a one and done. I could see why some people may feel that way about Kofi, but Big E, it's a whole different thing. He's a heavyweight. There's a lot of things in his favor. He will get it back, but this is an entertainment company, and Big E is champion. I mean, you saw the opening of Raw tonight. What would you rather have? Brock Lesnar expanding the storyline with Roman Reigns and making it even more interesting, because now Brock has a championship and Roman has a championship. And like I said on day one, I don't believe in a unification match, but could we end up with Brock 2 belts? Now you might have Brock versus Roman, title for title at Mania, almost like Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan stuff. Obviously, that was the IC title, but the point is, this is an entertainment company. What seemed more red hot today? Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar opening up and teasing and advancing the storyline of Roman, or Big E for the last 6 months, because it's an extension of his personality, being happy and laughing and a little bit preachy with the way he talks. Tell me which would have been better. Tell me who Big E could feud with right now that would be better. Nobody has an answer. Everybody just runs to, oh, look how this person was treated. It's an entertainment company.
Well, it's because everybody has a different idea of how the title should be held.
Right.
Some people like Big E as a singles player, and a lot of people miss Big E as part of New Day, DT. You got to realize there's a lot of people that want Big E back with Kofi and want him back with Xavier, and they want that group back together. So there's this real dichotomy between not only the title holder of being Big E, but Big E's career in itself. And there's people also that want Big E to be the laughing, happy champion. And there's other people that think he should take it a lot more seriously. So there's a lot of different avenues just for Big E alone. But yeah, you're right. I mean, what would you rather have? Paul Heyman and Brock out there on a Monday Night Raw cutting a promo for 20 minutes rather than hearing Seth come out there and do whatever the fuck he would do on a promo. So
absolutely. And you know what? I said it Saturday. I said it earlier today in a tweet. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar is a fantasy match that a lot of people wanted to see. We're now getting that match. I know a lot of people wanted it for WrestleMania. Why? Why wait until WrestleMania? We have this giant storyline with Brock versus Roman right now. And why would you divert from that? Lashley versus Brock at Royal Rumble is an awesome match, and we're getting it. So the fact that Brock is going to show up on SmackDown, I mean, when was the last time we had Brock on 2 shows in 1 week? I don't know. Maybe that, you know what I'm saying? Like, just enjoy it. Stop making everything political. Stop making everything about skin color. Stop making everything about WWE creative. The storyline with Brock and Roman has probably been the best running storyline for the last bunch of months. So now they threw a curveball in it, and Brock now has a championship. It sucks. It sucks that Big E had to lose as a result. But sorry for a lot of you out there on social media, even though you represent a very small percentage, but when week after week after week, you keep saying that Raw sucks, creative sucks, this sucks, almost happy and proud that it's the lowest rated or third lowest in history and this and that. So when you see a change come, can you be surprised? Stop looking at everything as half empty and look at it as half full. Stop looking at everything like this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Try to boost, focus on the things that are good instead of giving people a reason. I mean, WWE looks at social media and they see that the trendy thing to do is drama. The trendy thing to do is put things down. And then they make changes. Oh, it's fucked up. How could you do that? This is no. I tell you, man, these people just don't get it. I think Big E will regain that championship. And who knows? Maybe down the line, Big E beats Brock Lesnar. He has to.
I mean, I don't know if he was going to beat Brock Lesnar, but I could absolutely see Big E as champion again. And the people that make it about color, I mean, it's just a way for them to get noticed. I don't even believe the people that say that believe it themselves. No. The title's been really kind of passed around a lot lately. I don't think anybody can say that it's been slotted to any one person of color. So it's really weird to throw that out there,
I agree.
I digress.
Absolutely. So. No Veer tonight. Now, is this a scary sign? Because for weeks and weeks and weeks, they knew that this Veer stuff was a joke. I started comparing him to Emelina about 6 weeks ago. I mean, he has officially entered Emelina territory. Tonight, we don't even get a Veer is coming vignette. What do you think? I mean, I know it's just 1 week, but should we be concerned? Or is Veer going to return? I'll tell you this much.
I'm more concerned for Elias.
You think AJ Styles needs a new bodyguard, or you think you keep him as running like a baby face right now?
Oh yeah, you keep him as a baby face.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Okay. You keep him as a baby face. You run through this. You let Omos destroy AJ Styles to the point where they maybe even take AJ Styles off TV for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, well, give Omos, and I wouldn't be surprised if AJ does that. If AJ does the big spot for Omos, I could see it. I could totally see that guy doing that.
Oh, he did it tonight. He would do
something special.
He did it tonight a little bit. I mean, I guess we could officially start recapping Raw.
Sure.
And look, we don't have to go in place. We just go as the discussion brings it. AJ Styles versus Omos tonight. And I didn't think it was that bad of a match. I mean, I don't think anybody out there expected Omos to start chain wrestling. I mean, he is showing his power. He dropped, AJ Styles a couple of times like a sack of potatoes. And Omos, I'll tell you one thing that had surprised me. Omos pinning AJ Styles does not surprise me. What surprised me, and honestly, I wonder if this was a sign of respect by Omos. But usually in a situation like that, Omos, being the giant, would have taken his foot and just put it on AJ Styles' chest and let the referee count 1, 2, 3. You leave the guy set, because he did that. I even have the picture. He did this with, sorry, shout out to Rams fan. I got the main event results, Rams fan. The main event results was T-Bar over Mark Andrews and the Mysterios beating, who did he beat? Oh, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. The Mysterios won. That was the main event today. I got those myself. But you look at this picture, I mean, obviously this was taunting the size difference between AJ Styles and Omos. I honestly thought that we would have saw Omos like this with his foot on AJ's chest getting the pin, but Omos actually went down, hooked the leg.
But I don't think we're done yet either, though. I mean, this feud isn't over. There's still going to be more done to this. I think Omos needs to terrorize AJ a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Omos needs to hurt AJ for the sake of hurting AJ. And I mean, because even still, like right now, the whole thing started with The Miz. I wouldn't be surprised if The Miz maybe makes another appearance in this feud between AJ and Omos. But I hope he doesn't play a major role. I just want him to be there, to be the guy who is like whispering in Omos's ear. You know what I mean? That, oh, you're too good for AJ Styles. What are you doing with this punk? So... Yeah. And then obviously when AJ comes back, him and The Miz could go back at it again. But yeah, Omos, I'm happy. I'm happy he's walking on his own. I think that the guy is definitely ready to be that monster heel. And even tonight with the interviewer, I keep forgetting that kid's name. But yeah, with the hand over his face, and before they even went to commercial, he was holding him in like this weird bear hug arm lock thing. He just couldn't move, and he just had this look of terror while he's doing this.
Hey,
looking up at Omos, it was great, man.
Seriously,
it was absolutely well played.
I want you to do something for me. Oh, and by the way, for everyone out there, when I said Mark Andrews, think Matthew A. Rotz. Think Matthew A. Rotz.
Mm-hmm.
People know where I'm going with that. Hey, I'm putting my hand over my face. I think it actually looks kind of big. Put your hand over your face. Omos. Fuck you! This guy is the man. Holy shit.
I got big hands.
I'm telling you, the next time you and I get together, we have to recreate that moment where Andre the Giant did that to Vince McMahon on the interview. You got to stand right next to me and do that. Seriously. And you have to stand on a box. They would do that. They would have Andre like step on a box to make him look even taller.
Well, there's that classic Vince McMahon Andre picture where they're like in sepia or black and white, and Andre's standing there, and Vince is in his announcer's suit and stuff like that, and he's got the microphone and he's looking up at him, and it's great. It's classic.
Yeah. The Royal Rumble's in 4 weeks, so that in 4 weeks we're going to have Omos clean house in this Royal Rumble. Maybe AJ Styles gets a little bit of revenge. Shout out to Rams fan. Happy 5 months, my friend.
Thank you.
Mish, he loves you. You know,
I
just sending love your way.
Thank you.
You know, straight love. You know, you don't have to classify it here.
Much love to everybody else back too. You know, I appreciate all the thoughts and the well wishes.
Yes.
I hope you guys are all staying clean and safe and shit too. So
yeah. By the way, I will answer Cruiserweight's super chat in a moment. Chris L, happy 12 months. Wow, 1 year, my friend. 1 year.
wow.
By the way, I am definitely going to be posting something in the community section for our channel members tomorrow. I want you to tell me what you want me to add to the channel membership to spicing it up a little bit. There's a couple of options that I thought of. Maybe someone comes out there with an even different idea. You know, some people have said, you know, do the custom show again. So we'll definitely work on it. Cool Kamasi, welcome to the family. Cool Kamasi, I like that name. Like the name. I mentioned Veer a few moments ago because Veer, they've been doing this tease, and tonight we got none. And I joked on social media. I said, I think Alexa Bliss carjacked Veer because next week, Alexa Bliss's journey back to Raw begins. What do you think, Mish? Alexa Bliss back to Raw. I mean, is she going to have this entirely different look that everybody said that they were repackaging? Is it going to be kind of a little bit old school Alexa Bliss, or are we going to see pretty much the same as before?
I have a feeling they're going to pick up where they left off. And the only reason I think that is because they really focused on her journey with the puppets tonight. They really did the recap, and the one thing that they focused on was how Charlotte tore up her puppets, her doll. And I'm just like, please, let's not continue the doll storyline. Can we please get past this?
Yeah.
If she doesn't come back with some stupid doll storyline, I'll be fine with it. I'll be happy. But
can I reveal something here?
Quid pro quo, I'll be quite, just discouraged.
I'll reveal something here. I've done 2 contests where the prize was not only the Lily doll, but the Charlie doll, the Charlotte Flair doll. Do you know both times the winners won, they didn't claim the prize, which surprises the shit out of me. I mean, I still have them.
It shouldn't surprise you. The Alexa Bliss stuff is all fake internet crap, dude. It's not even real. The people that like Alexa Bliss only like her because she makes them feel funny. You know, like they don't care about her matches. Inside. They don't care about her promos. They don't care about her gimmick. All they care about is how she looks. So it's like their opinions mean less than the casuals.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Hey, well, she's going to return next week. Maybe
it's
she'll bring
remember
Veer.
that Jinder Mahal craze where everybody was like, all these trolls online were like, oh, don't hinder the Jinder. Jinder Mahal is the greatest wrestler of all time. Yeah, nobody believed it. And exactly what happened to Jinder Mahal is exactly what should happen to Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. So. Well, you know what? With Veer, they may keep him off of the Royal Rumble until the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be really interesting to see what kind of reaction he would get if they did not mention him at all anymore, and then he showed up at the Royal Rumble. Because look, with all the releases.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think Veer or Johnny Knoxville would get a better reception at Royal Rumble?
Oh boy, I think Veer would. I think Veer would. I will say this. It would be an absolute disaster after this became like a running joke that if Veer were to show up at the Royal Rumble and the crowd has no reaction and all of this, humor on social media and every week trolling, if it doesn't amount to people kind of feeling a little bit sorry for the guy and getting behind him when he's back. Because look, putting Veer's career aside for a minute, a lot of people probably don't even know his story as a baseball player. If any of you out there that don't know Veer's story as a baseball player, there was a movie that came out several years ago called The $1 Million Arm. The $1 Million Arm. And that probably rings a bell for a lot of people. Believe it or not, Veer was that baseball player. He was the baseball. I think he was in the Pirates organization. That was Veer. So this guy has a storied sports past. I think if people start, I don't think WWE would ever bring it up now, but if people start finding out a little bit about Veer's background, I think he would get even more support. But Johnny Knoxville, I have no interest in seeing Johnny Knoxville.
After tonight, obviously he's going to be there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we can expect more movie stars or TV stars to be on this year's Royal Rumble. Any other ideas of who you think that might show up?
Oh, well, you know what? Look.
You think Arquette might make a show?
I was saying this the other day. I actually wouldn't have a problem if Bad Bunny showed up. The guy.
What about Migos? You think Migos will show up and give him the ring?
No, I don't think so. I think because they were just in Atlanta. And look, I'd never heard of their music before, but I did a little background to see what they were all about. And I don't think for the Royal Rumble, but, you know, their appearance on day one was not too much. I mean, you know, wasn't a performance, you know. Yeah, I didn't. As far as celebrities, I mean, you think of the rumors.
Tony Gloss is saying Rinku Singh. Is that the one guy at Crown Jewel that was the okay? All right.
No, because honestly, if it would have been him, wait, Crown Jewel. Oh no. I thought you meant the one that revealed Keith Lee winning both belts. Because if it would have been him, I would have called him the $1 Million Dope.
That was like their mixed martial artist or Muay Thai or something like that.
No, I tell you, that would be interesting, but I don't think they're going to send him all the way from overseas just to be in the Royal Rumble for that moment, unless they had the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. It's not a bad idea, but
right.
I mean, celebrities, maybe we get, I don't know. Like,
Any
what other celebrities?
Any female celebrities?
I was thinking about that. I mean, we always hear rumors of musicians and different artists. I mean, I would like to see Poppy in the Royal Rumble. You know, I mean, if you're going to have some NXT stars, put Io Shirai in there, you put Poppy in there, I put Raquel Gonzalez in there. In fact, you know, especially now with Toni Storm's exit, you know, if Bayley is about to return, Bayley will probably pick up where Toni Storm was. I don't know. I mean, you know, we'll see. But
right. Oh, yeah.
There's the roster. They need to showcase as many people as possible. I mean, sure, I don't want Akira Tozawa in it. I don't want R-Truth. I'm fine with. I don't want Reggie in it. You know, like they're not needed for the Royal Rumble. Now, the question is Edge and The Miz going to be in the Royal Rumble? We don't know now because,
You don't think they will, or you think they're going to have a specialty match?
Well, they announced it today that we're going to have the match that ever since Miz and Edge had that first confrontation in the ring, that night on the Raw recap, you and I said that wouldn't surprise us if we end up with a mixed tag match in this feud.
Yeah.
So now at the Royal Rumble, we're getting Miz and Maryse versus Edge and Beth Phoenix.
Yeah. Team
so
Grit,
Beth Phoenix. Yeah. You know, so I don't know if Edge and Miz, because I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'd love to see Edge do double duty. And my God, I actually would love to see Edge win the Royal Rumble. But doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I mean, the mixed tag, I don't mind. I mean, if people seem to forget.
No, that's fine. Beth Phoenix is a decent wrestler. Maryse she'll be able to hold her own. I mean, they're not going to be the centerpiece of that match, but it'll be interesting to see how their husbands react, you know, when everybody steps in the ring. So,
well, we had this mixed tag match not too long ago.
That was amazing.
What about this one that a lot of people seem to forget?
Yeah.
And Bryan and Brie Bella.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, you know, it's Miz and Maryse with the mixed tag matches. I mean, do we end up with Us and Naomi down the line versus Miz and Maryse? Maybe. But I I'm looking forward to. I mean, obviously that match is going to be a lot of comedy. Maryse did face Beth Phoenix about 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I think Beth Phoenix got the win on that match, but that is now official mixed tag match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that'll be fun too. So, and I kind of like Beth Phoenix. I don't know what she's doing. She looks like she's got that 80s Mad Max hair all of a sudden tonight. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. Cool.
When I saw her at day one with that haircut, and they announced almost immediately after that they were going to be on Raw. I said, if I was Beth, you sleep in like a sit-up like sofa chair for the next day. And I'm just saying it jokingly because her hair looked so good at day one. I'm like, you do not mess with it. And, I don't know how long that takes. It must take a while. But,
you know what it looked like? And I mean, I don't know if it's the same person, but it looked like the same girl that used to do Ronda Rousey's braids and all of her hair and stuff like that. And we used to post about that too. Because I guess she would sit there for hours before Ronda even went to TV, just getting her hair and shit ready. So it could be the same girl because that's what it looked like. So
now you see everybody when Beth Phoenix stepped away from the NXT booth.
Yeah,
we said that she was going to focus on being a mom, doing some music, being a wife, and also doing a little bit with her husband on TV. A lot of other places tried to convince you that she was leaving a sinking ship. Which one do you think it is now when you really look at it? That doesn't look like a woman trying to leave a sinking ship.
It's just hyperbole. It's people believing in their own farts,
Yeah.
So.
I don't believe in my own farts. They announced the Street Profits in the Royal Rumble today, which I don't know. You think Montez might eliminate Angelo or vice versa?
If they eliminate anyone, I'll be impressed.
I tell you, man, look, I'm not one of those to tweet things to try to get 500 likes. But I got to tell you, man, we were already impressed with Montez Ford's frog splash. The height that he got on that one tonight was crazy. I mean, the height that he got on Apollo Crews was nuts. I honestly, and I'm not taking it away from Hall of Famers, people that we loved in the past, but I personally, you put Montez Ford's frog splash up against Eddie Guerrero's frog splash, up against RVD's, I honestly would put Montez Ford at the top of the list. Because the amount of elevation that this guy gets, I mean, even when he comes down, the way he comes down, it just looks like it hurts. RVD, I loved his as well. But RVD would sell it too much. Every time RVD would do it, he'd go, and then he would get the pin.
Right.
Eddie's was smooth. Eddie's was beautiful. But I kind of think Montez Ford has the best frog splash consistently that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I don't know. I thought Val did a good money shot. I liked Val's version of the money shot. He kind of went chest to chest. He went hard. Eddie's was probably the most impactful, though. Obviously, when Eddie hit, it looked like he was just dropping a full load of weight. So did RVD, but you're right. The whole rolling around the ring, I don't know if that ever helped it look better or worse. Because it's... But yeah, no, I agree with you. Montez did a good job.
Another person in the Royal Rumble tonight, official, is Austin Theory. Now, they did a little bit better job tonight with the mics. We heard Vince McMahon a little bit more. I miss Vince McMahon's darker suits. The older he gets, the lighter the suits get.
Right.
But we had Austin Theory with him, and Austin Theory, he didn't knock before he came in, and he apologized, and Vince is like, don't apologize, that's weak, I don't apologize. So Austin Theory wants a rematch with Finn Balor.
That'll be good.
Yeah, but Vince turns him down. You lost. But even though he attacked him backstage, you didn't see it coming. It was a surprise. So Vince puts him in the Royal Rumble, and Vince announces, hey, as we all knew already, if Austin Theory wins, he can fight anybody he wants. And Austin Theory has got the mannerisms, the facial reactions.
But do you really see him as being ready to carry the responsibility of being the Royal Rumble winner?
No.
I just don't see him at that level yet. Don't get me wrong. I see a potential for his future, absolutely. And as long as he keeps being entertaining, he's going to keep getting the ire of fans, but at the same time, the respect of other fans. It's just I don't see him in that position yet. I think it's a little too soon, dude.
Yeah. So. One fall. The thing with the Vince skits with Austin Theory, Vince is fawning over Austin Theory. He's fawning over him. So that's what the skits are. The reason
Vince has
why
done this forever.
Yeah, but the reason why we don't particularly enjoy the skits as much as we should is because the Vince McMahon we're getting now looks like a Vince that is struggling. That this is not the Vince even from 5-6 years ago.
Right.
This looks like a frail man with crazy ass makeup. It's just, you see, like, I don't know. His neck is like turning this way and his cheekbones are going like this. And,
I'm saying the storyline has been going on forever. I mean, if you really want to get into it, The Rock, Mick Foley, Hornswoggle, Ken Kennedy, like, there's been a test. There's been a lot of people that have vied to be Vince McMahon's other son over the years. Triple H, obviously, and sometimes it's him making it up, and sometimes it's other things like, being in bed with Stephanie or whatever else like that. So it's like the idea that Austin is also now a part of this doesn't surprise me. This is just the Vince storyline that's been going on forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the skits because I'm a big fan of Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory is definitely a bright star of tomorrow. The thing I like the most about this is they're still having him lose matches. And that's the thing. Sometimes when they really gush over someone, and I'm not saying like Damian Priest, different situation. You're told Damian Priest's in his 40s already. I mean, Austin Theory is still technically a rookie. Prince Jazayo, welcome, my friend. Welcome to the family. Austin Theory has a huge upside. And he has the look. He's got the mannerisms, just everything. He fits the WWE mold. He fits it. He's got the physique. He's got the mannerisms, just everything. But yeah, I'm with you 100%. He ain't winning no Royal Rumble. No, not for years. He might get a fluke win down the line, but yeah, not now. Not now. Want to shout out Cruiserweight with the random comment. Toni Storm leaves, and 41-year-old Shayna Baszler is still around. And he's sure Mish is happy with that crap. Talented and young Toni isn't good enough for Mish, or isn't good for Mish. We don't know the reason why Toni Storm left yet. We don't know. We're not going to speculate. We're not going to blame it on a couple of pies to the face. She was getting paid nicely. We don't know if she was homesick. We don't know. She just wanted to get away. We don't know if she suffered from burnout.
She was just burnt out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
look,
what I heard.
Look, we're in COVID still. And now we're in Omicron. And even though it's starting to come out that Omicron is not as severe as Delta, people are still getting sick. And I'm not going to be the one, even if it's Omicron, that I'm going to get it and then give it to my mom. Because that could be the nail in the coffin for her. But, when you're scared, and believe me, there are some people out there that will not leave their house. There are some people that will not show up for work, that will only work from home. There are people out there that are petrified. And a lot of it has been the news media, really doing this doom and gloom. So you imagine somebody on the road, in that type of work, having to be on the road, having to do this, having to be in an arena with thousands of people, having to tour, having to go to hotels, having to do this, and missing family and misses. So that could cause anyone, to get a little bit of a burnout. So we don't know the reasons why. We don't know. If Toni Storm comes back later and talks about creative, even if it's in a respectful way, then you could run with that. But I'm not going to be one of these shows that is simply going to show the picture of 2 pies to the face and say, oh, if that happened to you, wouldn't you want to walk out too? No, man, you pay me $200,000. Fucking throw piss in my face. I don't really mean that, but come on, this is WWE kid-friendly stuff. They're rated PG. AEW is not PG television. It was Thanksgiving. That they're going to do food and stuff like that. So
I hope that she was so sensitive to her job that I really do. And I'm just being honest here.
Yeah.
I hope that she was so offended by 2 pies that she decided to throw away a 6-figure contract and go home and pout about it. I really hope that was the case, because if that's what happened, then she deserves to go away.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I am with you 100%. But we don't know. I want to,
No, we don't.
And she doesn't owe us an explanation. She really doesn't.
I'm just saying, if this is the speculation that's the buzz right now, I just find it kind of funny. Dude.
You know what? You see Scotty 2 Hotty? And yes, I'm going to put Scotty 2 Hotty in this sentence. Scotty 2 Hotty was training NXT. He gave his notice.
Yes.
What did everybody do? Oh, he just fed up, doesn't like the uneasiness there, sinking ship, blah, 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 blah. No, the truth is Scotty 2 Hotty got the itch and wanted to wrestle again. WWE had no interest in Scotty 2 Hotty wrestling again. Scotty 2 Hotty left NXT and is now wrestling again. Scotty 2 Hotty put out a bucket list of things that he wants to do. And there's a lot of things that he wants to do in 2022 he would not have been able to do if he was still a teacher in NXT. Once again, it's not always doom and gloom, this and that. We don't know. So Toni Storm, give her the benefit of the doubt. You'll be able to tell based on what she does next. Based on what she does next. We'll see what happens. So shout out to Near. Much love, my friend. Hope you're doing well. I know you were going through your latest chemo, battling Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I hope, everything is well with that. I'm sure it was. So good to hear from you, my friend. Nero Fave, tuning in all the way from Israel. You should be sleeping right now. You should be sleeping. Much love.
Thank you, Nero.
Okay. Let's talk about a few other quick things from Raw. Dana Brooke and Reggie over Tamina and Akira Tozawa. Once again, Tamina doesn't play well with R-Truth or Tozawa. Tozawa accidentally nails her. Tamina whacks him back. Reggie pins Tozawa. Crowd had no reaction. Honestly, reaction. I will say it 10 times
Nobody
over.
cared.
This is shit. It is absolute garbage. This is leading to what you and I said over a month ago. This is going to lead to Reggie screwing Dana over.
Yeah.
That's what it's leading to. That's all this is leading to. Even Corey Graves tonight kind of planted the seeds a little bit, but that's what's happening. Reggie will screw Dana Brooke. I don't mean in that way. He will screw out of the title. Clarify. Another little interesting thing happened today. And no, not American Alpha defeating RK Bro in a non-title match. Everyone, welcome to the WWE formula from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, the 2020s. WWE has been doing it for decades and decades. They will have a tag team pin the champions as a reason to set up a title. If they don't do Gauntlet, if they don't do a Battle Royal, they will go this route. That's what they did tonight. Personally, I thought it was done well. I think people should just be happy that Otis and Chad Gable are getting a little bit of an opportunity. Isn't that what people wanted?
Yeah.
But the thing that I found interesting out of all of this, I don't know if you noticed it, before they had their match. Riddle and Orton were in the back. And Riddle with shades on, and he's trying to be like hip hop a little bit. He brings up hanging out with Migos and all that. So he calls himself Notorious. They want to be a rap group in 2022. And Riddle says, I could be Notorious, R to the I to the double D to the L to the E. And Randy Orton could be Little Randog. Crowd started booing the shit out of it. WWE cut the crowd noise from the back. Soon as they started hearing the plethora of boos, they cut that audio out. If you go back and watch it, I don't think WWE expected to hear that level of boos. The crowd was not into it. I mean, It was just a little bit stupid. And it's Riddle's character is always a little goofy. But tonight it was just dumb. Crowd was not feeling it. I certainly wasn't feeling it. Name dropping Slim Shady, I don't think helps either. But he wanted Randy to put the gold chain on, with the New Year's resolutions. And sure enough, they lost their tag match, and this is going to set up, obviously, a title match between RK Bro and American Alpha. The difference between this and Damian Priest has lost 3 matches in the last month and a half. But Damian Priest lost because of DQ. That's why Dolph got the title shot. That's why Damian Priest has not been pinned on WWE television on the main roster other than a handicap match with Miz and Morrison. That is the only time Damian Priest has been pinned on the main roster. You take away that handicap match, Damian Priest has never been pinned. Not even once. So they don't want to do that route. Be thankful they're not doing that with Damian Priest. Be thankful that Dolph Ziggler didn't do the fruit roll-up to Damian Priest last week, which earned him a title shot. They had Damian Priest snapping and getting disqualified instead. Doesn't make sense for Riddle and Orton to get disqualified right now. So that's why they did it the way they did with RK Bro, and that's why they did it the way they did with Damian Priest. Damian Priest and Ziggler tonight, they tore that shit up. I mean, as much as people are not feeling Ziggler, I thought that match was awesome.
Yeah, they're both good wrestlers. They're both good talents. I mean, one of the best positives that Damian Priest has brought in here is not just his charisma, but the fact that the guy can tear it up in the ring. He's innovative. He thinks outside the box. He wrestles outside the box. He doesn't do the WWE style. He hasn't become formulaic yet. And he still pulls out little things from different kinds of strikes or even just the different ways that he approaches moves, traditional moves. I think that that's what makes him unique. And Dolph Ziggler, I mean, the one thing that you can say is, whether you're bored of the man or you're bored of his ability or whatever, the guy still sells. The guy still, even at mediocre, he's still better than most.
Yeah, so, sure. Yeah. And I like the little twist today that if Damian Priest got disqualified or counted out, he would still lose the title. So at one point, he's got a chair, and Ziggler's begging him to hit him with the chair, and him with the Hulk eyes, just getting all twisted, but instead he throws the chair at Robert Roode, but eventually hits the reckoning on Dolph Ziggler and gets the pin. So my question is, who is going to be the next true viable threat to Damian Priest's title? And I come up with only one name right now. I don't know if people are going to like that name. I think Big E. What do you think?
Really?
Yeah.
You think demote him already?
No, I don't even consider it a demotion. I mean, right now,
I would.
We got the road to WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar.
You keep him in the hunt, though. You keep him in the hunt, even without a title.
Right.
You keep him in the hunt. Title that's below his stature. That's a demotion.
Yeah, but if they're going to go with Brock versus Roman to be this storyline continuing, and now Brock has a title, And Paul Heyman, you think about it, the Paul Heyman storyline takes a new twist now, because what is Paul Heyman going to do on SmackDown? I mean, if this is going to be a setup where Paul Heyman ultimately screws Brock, what are they going to do? Title for title? Is Paul Heyman going to screw Brock at Royal Rumble? We don't know any. There's so many different, scenarios now that we can think about. And that's when wrestling is at its best, when you can't truly figure out what an outcome is going to be or what somebody's going to do. Big E, there's no reason to put
but this
Big E.
isn't that. This is about what the title means. And being in the title, being a champion, being the heavyweight champion, being the world champion, and then going down to IC or US or even tag team, it's a demotion.
Right.
People that have those lower belts are literally vying to become the main champion. So when you're a former champion, and not that long ago either, you stay in the hunt. Yes, we know the stories about Brock versus Roman. That doesn't mean that everybody else in the world disappears for the title.
Right.
It doesn't mean that other matches don't happen.
Right.
But putting him down there and then having him defend the IC title again.
Right. But do you want Big E to have a couple of losses on the Brock's belt right now?
Yeah.
If they're not taking the title off of Brock? See,
that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with taking a loss as long as you're in the picture.
Well, this is what I was thinking. They could do the Shane Douglas route that they did in ECW back in 1996. What that storyline was that Shane Douglas had lost the ECW Heavyweight Championship. Too Cold Scorpio was the TV champion. And Too Cold Scorpio issued a challenge to Shane Douglas, and Shane Douglas, he thought it was beneath him. He says, no. I'm about the heavyweight title. I'm not interested in your belt. That have pissed off Too Cold Scorpio so much that Scorpio hit him with the belt. This ended up with them having the feud, and I believe Shane Douglas ended up winning the TV title. So my thinking is that maybe Damian Priest issues a challenge to Big E, and maybe Big E says, look, right now I'm about that heavyweight title and this and that, and maybe that pisses off Damian Priest for, this like diminishing or belittling his belt. I'm not saying that Damian Priest has to turn heel, but that could be a way where Priest snaps, attacks Big E, and then maybe that forces a feud, and doesn't give the perception of Big E being demoted,
Right.
So look, it's WWE dug this hole right now with Big E. I don't know if that's really a shovel. Shovels don't usually do this. This is more like I don't know. This is like making sausage from a sausage machine. I mean, WWE's dug a hole. This is why they get paid the money. Right. If we get, Mish, if they want to start paying us a couple of dollars to give suggestions, I'm sure you and I would definitely be willing to do it.
They would never listen to me. So they might listen to you, but they'll never listen to me.
Yeah. Well, they could. Why not? They could listen.
Because I'm not their market.
Yeah. Oh, never say never. Never say never. Shout out to Chris Silver with the $5 super chat. Do we think it would be good if Liv Morgan won the women's championship at WrestleMania? You go first.
No.
I agree.
No.
I agree.
Sorry. She's not carrying her weight. Her appearance at day one was subpar at best. I did not enjoy that match. Everything that she's shown so far has been mediocre at best. I do not believe that Liv Morgan is the next major female superstar that all these other people online believe she is. Sorry, you guys are on a whole different wavelength than I see. I see a very boring, run-of-the-mill girl that's just kind of getting lucky with her shot and eventually will be forgotten and pushed to the side. There are other people that have more talent that shouldn't be pushed to the side, but I digress. She's pretty. So that's what matters, guys.
Well, I'm not as direct. I'm not, and I'm a similar path. I think like you and I are on the same highway, and then I end up taking a different route afterwards. Right. But I think with Liv, compared to a year ago, Liv has improved substantially. What I said with day one is she put on the performance of her career. the only problem, the biggest problem, not the only, the biggest problem with Liv Morgan right now is Liv Morgan is not ready yet to be the ring general and tell the story in a match. If you watch day one closely, Becky set up about 80% of Liv's offense. Becky would go in the corner and set up so Liv could do this. Becky would go to the side to set up for Liv to do this. So Liv is...
Everything was telegraphed last night.
Right.
It just blew my mind how people were like, oh, Liv had a good match.
She did.
Everything was telegraphed to the point where if there wasn't camera tricks turning away from the action so you saw how the fucking bread was made, you know, it was bad. It was a bad match.
The good thing about that match is whatever Becky set up, Liv did what she needed to do.
Yeah, the rope thing, the top rope flip thing, that was nice. Yeah. No, I mean, she's competent enough to execute moves, but she doesn't have a believable match.
Right.
She just doesn't. Her matches all look like somebody practicing sparring.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
All
of her matches look like practice matches.
Yeah. I say give it another 6 to 9 months and reevaluate.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying perfect. Never. You reevaluate.
Yeah.
So
unless you're the Iconics, then it takes 14 years.
Well, this could segue into what went down tonight. We had Vincent Van Gogh come out, Becky Lynch, touting her victory and basically thinking back at the last year of what she's done. And this brings out Bianca Belair. Well, brings out Liv first. Liv thinks that I think she feels she deserves another shot.
Of course she
and
does.
This leads to Bianca Belair to come out. Yes. Bianca is like, and Becky's like, well, you two argue, and I'll just leave the ring. And then we have Liv and Bianca both attack Becky, throw out of the ring, then they go at it. And we find out that next week it's supposed to be Liv versus Bianca, and with the winner taking on Becky, I am assuming at the Royal Rumble, but we get a little diversion. Doudrop shows up. You know, the same Doudrop that's lost every match. Not her fault. WWE creative. I will admit on that. Doudrop feels that she deserves an opportunity. So they changed the match next week. So next week it's going to be Bianca versus Liv versus Doudrop. The winner of that match gets Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble. Is this the way to get Bianca Belair back in this picture? Because I think by putting Doudrop in this, I could see Bianca pinning Doudrop next week.
You know, it's funny. They made everybody so unlikable and so awful that even though many of us do not appreciate Bianca Belair's face character, it has become such the only option that not backing Bianca Belair at this point is just insanity. Yeah. I mean, Liv is not worth it. Doudrop is not worth it. Bianca Belair is your only hope. So it's weird. Instead of having talent reach for the brass ring and become exceptional to the ring, to the fans, to other talent, they decided to go the other route and move the whole line back and just make everybody else so miserable that even a half-assed Bianca Belair is the best possible choice we can get right now.
Yeah. Well, it should be interesting, especially thinking now that Alexa Bliss is going to be returning now. As we talked about it earlier, the fact that it's just the road to returning, that means it's going to take a few weeks. So we don't have to worry about Alexa in the title picture at the present moment. We'll see where it goes from here. Now, as far as the women's tag team division goes, you and I have been calling this storyline for well over a month now, and it's really in full gear. Rhea Ripley wins matches. Nikki Ash loses matches. When they team up, Nikki eats the pin over and over and over again. And what you and I said, that the next step in this storyline, which I believe is about to happen, is Nikki is going to want to team up with Rhea again. And Rhea's going to say, look, I don't think it's a good idea. And this is going to devastate Nikki Ash, maybe to the point where she turns heel and attacks Rhea Ripley. Could they possibly have Rhea Ripley attack Nikki instead? Like fuck away from
that would make the most sense. I mean, that would kind of make sense to her gimmick. She's supposed to be fringe element, right? She's supposed to be punk. She's supposed to be like not really down with the rules, right? So why in the hell hasn't she smashed the shit out of Nikki Ash by now?
Yeah.
Nikki Ash keeps losing. Clearly she's the weak link. There's only so much you can handle being a nice person before you get sick of somebody's shit. Nikki Ash should be part of the floor right now.
Well,
and
I'll tell you,
Rhea Ripley should go full heel.
I'll tell you this much. I'll give everybody the results in a few minutes. King Boricua, welcome to the family. King Boricua. At WWE House Show over the weekend, Natalya took on Nikki Ash and beat her. Then Natalya took on Rhea Ripley, and guess who won?
Rhea
Ripley. So there's a case where they both faced the same wrestler. Nikki lost, Rhea won. So that's where they're going with this. And sure enough, tonight, Zelina Vega with the fruit roll-up on Nikki gets the win. So Carmella and Zelina retain the titles. And, Rhea Ripley looks pissed. And Nikki's like, I'm sorry. I think the next step that you and I have been calling is Nikki's going to want to team up. I got us one more shot.
Right.
No. And then we'll see where it goes from here.
Wouldn't it be funny if they do something like, and let me just throw out the fantasy moment, the Mistradamus moment, that you're right. And she says, we got us one more shot. And just when Nikki's about to win it, Rhea pulls her off and just beats her ass. Like steals the win away from her because she doesn't want to be her teammate anymore.
That would be good.
I don't know.
I'd be fine with that. Sure would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So what we have left from tonight was the match that we thought we were going to get, and that was Big E versus Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Originally, it was supposed to be Big E defending the championship. Now with Roman Reigns out, the storyline has taken a major shift. So now we need an opponent for Brock Lesnar for the Royal Rumble. And in the meantime, Brock probably getting paid a little bit overtime. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Brock now holding the heavyweight title, being back with Paul Heyman, continuing the storyline with Roman Reigns. When they first came out tonight, Brock Lesnar basically telling the fans, South Carolina, acknowledge me. Same thing that Roman Reigns always does. Brock at the very end of the night, not even acknowledging Bobby Lashley that got the win. Brock, your thoughts on Bobby Lashley winning this match? Roman, I'll see you Friday. Hey, Roman, look at what I got. Or he could even do that about Paul Heyman too. So the match we were supposed to get at the pay-per-view, some people still don't understand premium live event and pay-per-view. Yes, WWE still calls them pay-per-views. You want my explanation, you tune into the day one recap.
It was kind of funny. Joey said that yesterday too. He's like, is it a stream? Is it an event? Is it a pay-per-view? What the hell am I watching?
Yeah. Well, I'll just summarize for anybody that didn't see my day one recap. If you go on any cable company's website, like Infinity and others, you can still order WWE pay-per-views for $44.95. WWE Day One was available on certain cable providers for $44.95. All you got to do is just look up Captain Obvious definition of pay-per-view, whether it's boxing, a movie, Girls Gone Wild from back in the day, or wrestling. You pay to view it. Peacock, it's part of the subscription. So it is a premium live event.
Right.
So, but if you go on a cable subscription and you don't subscribe to Peacock, yes, you can order day one, $44.95, pay per view. So yes, they're still using the term pay-per-view. But since Peacock is giving them $1 billion, they're like, this is where our bread is being buttered. We're calling it a premium live event. If outside entities want to stream it, it's a pay-per-view.
Let me ask you this. So Benjamin even asked in there, he's like, why in the world would anybody buy a pay-per-view if you could just stream it? I think when you purchase a pay-per-view, there's different rules that apply. Like you can have, okay, so technically on a stream, isn't it just supposed to be that only you can watch a stream? And that's how that works. And with pay-per-views through like cable companies like Spectrum or Comcast or whatever else like that, you can have an entire living room of people. And then there's a bar version of the pay-per-view that sells that you can go to like different, like, you know, Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever, where they can watch it at Buffalo Wild Wings, but they pay around $700 per event.
Yeah. Or you could just be on vacation and don't have access to not everybody owns a smartphone. Hell, I got family members, older family members. How many people? Yeah. Right. But I'm saying I have older family members that don't own smartphones, that don't own smart TVs. And like my father, he's got Verizon Fios. He doesn't have Peacock and he doesn't use a smartphone. So if my father was a wrestling fan and my father wanted to watch it, my father would have to pay $44.95 for it. So, and if you go on those cable providers, it specifically says pay per view. It's just that's a boring explanation. I put that on social media. I'm like, look, everybody. And I even put 2 links up. I said, look, everybody, if you go here, you'll see they still call it pay-per-view. But since Peacock is the main engine for WWE, the main revenue source, they're calling it Premier Live Event. Nobody gave a shit about it. Nobody clicked on it. Nobody retweeted it. I'm like, okay, people don't care, don't want to know the truth. So I deleted it. So, all right. C-Med says, oh, my dad could get Roku for $50. And yeah, and how does he connect the connection? You know, they don't use the internet. You know, there's a lot of mostly older people that don't use smart TVs, that don't go online. I know that's crazy for us to think of, but there's a lot of people that don't do that.
Yeah.
They probably don't watch wrestling either. Let's be honest. So anyway, just to wrap this up, bring this home.
God, I hope not.
I know. Well, we get
Never mind.
We get the main event, and it was fucking awesome. They worked their asses off. Big E.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Big E put on a great performance. Bobby Lashley spearing into the freaking barricades by the timekeepers there.
Yeah, that was great. He made that look good, didn't he?
Holy shit.
He went head first and did like a little pirouette flip. It was nice.
Yeah.
He was all into it, and there was actually people chanting for Bobby.
Yeah, the fans were behind Bobby.
I think that's what made him happy to do it so hard too, because he was standing there with his fist, and what did he do? He went, like he licked his fist. I don't even know what the fuck that was. I'm like, Bobby, what are you doing? Why are you licking your fist? And then he just charges into the wall. I laughed my ass off. It was pretty good.
See, these guys prepared for this match for about 2 weeks. So they had spots that they were preparing to do based on the match being a 4-way. So some of what we saw tonight, we were supposed to see yesterday, but obviously with Brock Lesnar being thrown into it, everything was put in disarray. This match was excellent. In the end, it was Big E getting the win. I liked the setup early where Kevin Owens is telling Seth Rollins, look, here's the perfect scenario. I help you, you help me. We don't screw each other over. Whoever ends up winning the match, you go on, you take on Brock Lesnar. The other person helps that person. And if that person wins the championship for Brock Lesnar, then that person agrees to take on the other person at WrestleMania. So if Seth Rollins advances, Kevin Owens will help Seth Rollins. And if Seth Rollins wins the championship, then Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins would face each other at Mania. And they did not turn on each other. I said it Saturday, and I'll continue to say it. I think this was one of my predictions that I said a couple of weeks ago. I forgot to say, and by the way, Prince Alberts, I don't know if you saw my comment on YouTube earlier, but you said I did not get into your super chat yesterday. I did. You might remember the moment where I took in soda in the wrong windpipe and almost choked to death. That was your super chat. One of the predictions I said is Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens will be a steady tag team. They are going to win the tag team championships. And I would not be surprised if they defeat Randy Orton and Riddle for those titles. I think Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens is the next money tag team on Raw. And they worked together today. I mean, they put Big E through the announcer's table, kind of a little bit reminiscing of the Shield. They put on an excellent performance. The match was awesome. The crowd was into it. But in the end, it's Bobby Lashley pinning Kevin Owens. So Bobby Lashley takes on Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Nothing against Big E, but this, as a wrestling fan and wanting me to maximize, I want to maximize my enjoyment. I want to see big time matches. I want to see fantasy matches. I don't want to see matches put on because it's the right thing to do. Big E, plenty of time to regain this championship. Right now, we're at the road to WrestleMania. And unfortunately, with Roman Reigns catching COVID, this big main event that could not go on, WWE needed a big time audible. You cannot have Big E go into Raw today and then, they wanted a huge buzz to come out of day one. And I have no issues with this whatsoever. We're getting a fantasy match in Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Two titans going at it. Bobby Lashley, was in WWE over 10 years ago. And Bobby Lashley was recently a heavyweight champion during COVID. And some people felt that they took remember when he lost the title? A lot of people like, why'd you take the title off him? Why take the title off now? Like, why? It shit happens. Miz had it for 6 days. Drew McIntyre had it for a long time, but not everybody has a long title reign. Maybe Big E going for the title is more money than Big E having the title. Think Dusty Rhodes. Think others. On the Hunt might be more money than anything else. And who knows? Maybe Big E wins the heavyweight championship at WrestleMania. We don't know. But I will say this. A lot of people feel that New Day already have had a Hall of Fame career. The fact that you could even say that tells you how much success Big E has already had.
Yeah, they've been a cornerstone of WWE for a while. I mean, if you don't look at New Day and think one of the reasons why WWE is still, standing is New Day, you got another thing coming, I mean, they absolutely drove merchandise back when, merchandise was falling off the edge and still do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I liked Bobby Lashley earlier saying that Brock Lesnar fears me. There's a little chess going on right now. Bobby Lashley.
I was laughing at MVP. Are you kidding me? The setup to that was funny because MVP buried Bobby Lashley. And I don't think people got that. Like he said, yeah. Well, is that what it was? Because
I think to light a fire under his ass
with him, which I thought was weird too. But it wasn't like, okay, I can understand if you're trying to say something to piss the guy off. But MVP was laughing about it. He buried Bobby Lashley and said that he can't do it. And then he laughed about it and walked off. And I was just like, it was very surreal. And I thought it was kind of a shot going back a couple weeks ago when there was a little back and forth between MVP and Lashley.
Right. Well, now the fire is back and now he's got the title shot. Yeah, and I tell you, it's gonna be animated to see MVP on one side and Paul Heyman on the other.
You know what? And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that moment when MVP and Paul Heyman get in each other's face. Because we haven't seen that. Yeah. And obviously Paul Heyman is a well-established guy. People know who the fuck he is. His reputation is miles long. MVP, though, in this role is fairly new. He's been around in wrestling forever, don't get me wrong. But being this all-star kind of manager in 2022, this is kind of a new role for the guy. So I would like to see MVP and Paul Heyman kind of have the back and forth. I think, honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to that almost more than Brock versus Bobby Lashley.
Roger Bear, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Are we watching Wrestle Kingdom tonight? I have not gotten a good night's sleep since New Year's Eve, eating pizza and cannolis and drinking champagne. So my body's only now starting to feel like it's getting back into the zone. So I plan on sleeping like a baby tonight.
I still got to catch up on some Dynamite. I still got to catch up on the rest of day one. I saw half of it. Look, I'm really excited to see Mercedes Martinez in AEW. I think that was one of my early Christmas gifts, and I mean, you want to talk about trying to change some things. AEW doing the right thing with a talent like Mercedes Martinez. I know she's old. She's 41 years old. I mean, oof, God forbid, but
well, I will definitely be watching drips and drabs during the whole week. I will watch, but I'm going to do it at my leisure. Number one, only about 5% of everybody that tunes in watches that. So, that's why I try to cover shows that more, it's more mainstream that everybody watches, but I will definitely be watching parts of it. Very quickly, because we're going to start bringing this home in the next 10 minutes. WWE had a house show over the weekend in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Super Show. Some of the match results, and I'll tell you a injury that came out of that. Rick Boogs over Austin Theory. Go online, you'll see some funny selfies that Austin Theory took during that match. Somehow it was one with Ricochet, if I remember. I don't know how that ended up, but Natalya over Nikki A.S.H, and then Rhea Ripley over Natalya. We had Becky Lynch retaining the Raw Women's Championship, defeating Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan. For the United States title, Damian Priest beat The Miz. For the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair defeated Sasha Banks. During this match, some people have put some very slow-mo video online, and Sasha lands really, really bad on her leg. And some people thought the ankle, some people thought the knee. It just did not look good.
Right.
People were very, very concerned for Sasha Banks. She could not put any weight on it whatsoever. Late last night, she posted a tweet to let everybody know that she's good. So hopefully it's just a little bit of a twist and nothing, that's going to she may have to take a week off, but, I think she escaped major injury. So they probably did an immediate MRI and she's okay. When she writes, it says
like a stinger or something.
Yeah. I mean, look, I fell down a flight of stairs and, I'm still, barking to this moment. So the fact that she went on social media and says, look, everybody, I'm good. She escaped serious injury. So, good for her. We had a 6-man tag match, The New Day and Bobby Lashley. How do you like that? Big E, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Bobby Lashley. They defeated Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and the Usos. So once again, Big E. And look, we don't know. I mean, Paul Heyman is still technically a heel. Brock Lesnar has been cheered as a baby face. It's going to be an interesting dynamic with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar in this match because it does feel like Bobby Lashley getting more and more cheers from the fans.
Yeah.
So, interesting card. We did not get any Grayson Waller tonight because don't forget, tomorrow night on NXT, it is New Year's Evil. I did predictions last week. You can go on the channel and search. You could hear them. But the only matches that have been confirmed is Braun Breaker versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title. You have Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade trying to take the title away from Mandy Rose in a 3-way. For the Cruiserweight Championship versus the North American Championship unification match, you got Roderick Strong versus Carmelo Hayes. Imperium of Fabian Aichner, Marcel Bartel, and Walter taking on MSK and Riddle, which is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And then they're not calling it a match. They're just saying right now that AJ Styles is going to confront Grayson Waller. We don't know if it's going to be a match or not. Tonight, during Raw, there were commercials reminding fans to watch TBS this Wednesday and not TNT as Dynamite begins their run on TBS this Wednesday. So far, MJF is going to be in action. We don't know who his opponent is going to be. Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. I still think Julie Hart is going to join the House of Black. Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho for the TBS tournament final. You have the Lucha Bros defending the AEW tag team titles against Jurassic Express. And then you have Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW Heavyweight Championship against Bryan Danielson. I don't know how you think about that match, Mish, but I think it goes on first. I think it goes to a time limit draw. If they still go ahead with judges, I think one judge is going to rule in favor for Danielson. One judge is going to rule in favor for Page. The other judge is going to call it split, and it's going to be another draw. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, it would be good for them to milk it a little bit longer. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, they could always have it go one way and then have a rematch and have it go the other way and then have the rubber match at the pay-per-view at the next event, you know? So you're right. It could be them working with 3 ties, or you could actually do, you know, one win this way, one win that way.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the number of matches here, you know, you got to remember, you know, let's take Page versus Bryan Danielson out of this for a minute. Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. You go on, 12 minutes, let's say. Then you got Jade Cargill versus Ruby Soho that I don't think goes more than maybe 6 minutes. So now you're 18 minutes, not including commercials.
They've been having longer matches with the women's matches. I'd almost say that goes 10 at least.
It might, but Jade Cargill, you know, I don't know how they're going to, you know, milk the time. I mean, Ruby sells injuries great, so you'll probably see.
Well, Ruby knows what she's doing. I agree.
So even if we gave them 10 minutes, now you're looking at 22 minutes between those 2 matches. You got Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. That I think goes 5 or 6 minutes. So now you're at 28 minutes. And then MJF, whatever match he's going to have, it's going to be probably 2-3 minutes. We may get Wardlow in another squash match. So that could...
Wardlow.
Well, you know, they're teasing the split.
I know.
That split is coming.
Yeah, it is.
But they do a 60-minute time limit draw, and then it comes down to judges. Between the introductions and the judge's decision, you're talking about an hour and 10 minutes off of Dynamite already. So some of these matches, you're really cutting it close. And I tell you, you got Battle of the Belts happening this Saturday. And as I brought up a few weeks ago, and I'm surprised how many people still don't realize this, it's only 1 hour. I mean, you got Guevara versus Cody in a rematch, and then you got Britt Baker versus Riho. You're only going to add maybe 1 more match on that, 2 at the most. The heavyweight title's not even going to even be defended on Battle of the Belts. It's only a 1 hour show.
Yeah.
So we will see. But last comment for tonight, Drew McIntyre. We talked about it briefly on Saturday with the day 1 recap, and we updated everybody yesterday. If you didn't tune into either show, when we brought up Moss and Baron Corbin taking out McIntyre with the chair to the head with the Pillmanizer on day 1, I had made the remark that, you know, they could be writing Drew McIntyre off to heal from some nagging injuries. We found out that, yes, Drew McIntyre actually is injured, and they wrote him off now with the hopes of him being back in time for the Royal Rumble. He should be back in time for the Royal Rumble. Nothing that I heard requires any type of surgery or serious procedures. So I think Drew just needs a little bit of rest and relaxation. And you know what? Probably the best thing leading into the Royal Rumble and with all this COVID stuff going on. So he really does have some nagging injury. So we wish Drew McIntyre the best. And with that said, we are at exactly 90 minutes, Mish. Any closing thoughts before we call it?
No. Thank you for the well wishes, everyone. Hope
Much
you guys
love.
have a great weekend and great New Year. So
I'm glad you're feeling better, my friend. So,
starting to.
You got to let me know tomorrow how the pizza was.
Yes.
So keep me surprised. Keep me surprised.
Okay.
We'll talk about it tomorrow night.
All right. Much love, everyone. Thank you.
Much love. Continued feeling better. So, all right, everyone. I am going to jet out of here. I hope you enjoyed tonight's edition of Breakfast Soup Raw. In the comment section, give us your thoughts, what we said earlier about Big E, being put aside for a little while in place of it, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. What do you think about Brock and Roman, that storyline continuing? What do you think about the idea? Now, Roman Reigns, do not be surprised. I want to make this clear. Do not be surprised. Scorpio 1117, I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. He says, Jade Cargill is the GOAT. Jade Cargill is excellent. She's still got a long way to go. Jade Cargill wins that championship. How does she defend that championship? You're going to have every match mirror what happened with Thunder Rosa. I don't think she is ready to defend that title. You put her in matches where it accentuates the positives. If she has that championship, then she's got to defend it. And she's got to defend it against worthy challengers. And when every worthy challenge has to reel it back a little bit and sell injuries and take it slow and make it methodical, that could actually hurt Jade Cargill and help her. So, I definitely think she is a mega star in the making. I don't think she should win that TBS championship. So, there was one last thing I wanted to say. I can't remember what it was. Shit. Can't remember now. But anyway, so tomorrow night, if you'd like to join us on Patreon, it is patreon.com/Don Tony. Otherwise, I will be here Wednesday. I know what I was going to say. If you post any comments in the comment section, let us know. How do you feel about Big E, being put aside for, like, no, it's taken aside. That's, this is what happens in wrestling. Sometimes things change, circumstances changed. Day one was a very important pay-per-view. Royal Rumble's a very important pay-per-view. WrestleMania is very important. So I think in the end, everything works out just fine. I just wish people out there wouldn't diminish the career that Big E has already had. There's no reason why they can't go back and give him a championship down the line. So I personally think, to maximize entertainment, I think a lot of people out there would prefer to see Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship than Big E versus Bobby Lashley or Big E versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has been on fire since he has returned. Why would you not? And don't give me the white and black thing. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. But anyway, have a good night, everyone. Much love. If I don't see you tomorrow on Patreon, I will be here Wednesday right after AEW Dynamite. It's going to be a loaded show. It's going to be awesome. And I'm really curious what happens with Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page. That has been my gut feeling all along, and I am sticking with it. I think we end up with another draw. So, all right, everybody. Have a great night. Much love. I'll catch you either tomorrow at 10:05 after NXT or Wednesday at 10:05 after AEW Dynamite. Be well, everyone. Don't forget TBS, not TNT. Take care.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the hosts. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright, he's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.